Hi folks, welcome back to another Value Vintage Cards video. In this one I want to do a little bit of reflecting. So I started this channel right after I got back from Strongsville, after some encouragement and support and a little gentle nudge. So really appreciate everyone that kind of got me across the finish line to do this. But I was noticing as I was going to Strongsville, kind of everything we do about this is really based on the hobby, the community, the fun of it. And so even going into Strongsville, pre-channel, whatever, I still have my little community building. So I sent a text to a couple of friends and I said, my hit list is really 4 big cards. And that's really, if I can get those, there was a couple others obviously I'm looking for, and I picked up 4 or 5 cards that weren't on this list at the show. I actually picked up none from my list at the show. But one of the things in life that you learn is when you have things written, documented, and you tell people about it, you set very clear goals. It could be, something more substantial than things I want to purchase. But when you have target cards and you're really involved in the hobby and you enjoy it, you start looking for it. You start hunting, you find, and you can have success. So I do have some new goals I'm going to be sharing in a couple of upcoming videos that I think will be kind of fun. They're actually outside my norm. And I think part of it is just getting a little bit of a push and a little bit of idea structure from people in the community. They'll say, I'm doing things this way. I'm like, that's a unique twist on things. Maybe I can do that too. So I've got 2 or 3 different goals that I'm going to set for the next probably 3 to 5 years, honestly, to complete them. So they're not pick up a card. They're bigger goals. But small sample size. When I sent that text out, there was 4 cards. And I will say there's one I have not accomplished. I'm going to show that first because it's the one I'm still hunting for. And if anyone clicks off this, I want them to watch long enough, hopefully, to at least know this is the one you need to help me find. So I show this frequently. This is one of my all-time favorite cards. It is the M101-4 George Sisler. It's considered his rookie. It's probably the cleanest, truest rookie because a lot of them are like date ranges, or they're alternative things where they're not really cards or like pennants and things. And I'm still in the process of showing all my Sisler stuff. So if you're watching this after my Sisler stuff is shown, but this is -4. The biggest thing on this that makes it unique is he's shown as a first baseman. There is a M101-5 where he is listed as a pitcher. That's the one I'm hunting for. So even though the picture is identical, I would really like to have both versions because that is a unique thing. I'm a huge fan of unique nicknames, cool write-ups, errors, variants, misspelled names. Even if it's not correct, it doesn't be an error, just so long as it's unique and makes that item, kind of extra memorable, I think is what it is for me. I'm just drawn to it. So it's the only image that I can think of. And there's several where it looks like he's throwing. It looks like he probably is pitching. But it's the only one that I can think of on a card where he's listed as a pitcher, which is, for me, a big deal. So I kind of say that's like my grail card. I look at what things cost. I would like to eventually have a 52 mantle. I think that's like within the scope of possibilities in my lifetime. Honus Wagner, no. Eddie Plank, no. Some of those like crazy monster cards. But 52 mantle is probably about the cap of where I could see like one day having the ability to do that. But that probably still would kind of pale in comparison because I'm kind of first and foremost a Sisler collector at this point. So I would really like to get that. The other 3 cards on my list I have had success with. This one I actually picked up prior to. So it was on my list. Came up on Facebook, and I've shown this before again, but it was on my list kind of for all those same reasons. It's W516 2-2, Babe Ruth, 1921. So a few of the things that I absolutely just love about that. It's Babe Ruth. He is on the Yankees. They put it as the Yanks. He's listed as a pitcher. And it's just the style of the card, it's nothing to do, it's not an error or anything else, but they show him throwing righty. That whole set has reverse images, so if there's writing on it, it's in reverse. Everything's just exact flip-flops. So it's actually the less expensive. I think the one where he's throwing lefty his normal way is actually the more expensive variation, for whatever reason. But they're all pretty low pop. They're all Babe Ruth. I just think listing it as Yanks and pitcher to me is, again, fantastic. So there's the two Georges that started and had their first card in like 1916 that were left-handed pitchers. So two of those in common. The next one I picked up shortly after. I did see a couple of them at the show. It's not the scarcest card in the world, but his story, if you know Adi Jas, the T205 card is significantly more expensive than the T206. And T206, he's got a couple. But the T205, let me see if I can get the image to show up there. One of the neat things of this is the back write-up. This is actually after he's passed away. They don't show his stats. They just tell the story a little bit of his life and his end of life. So the last sentence says, he was a faithful player, liked by his teammates and respected by the public, many thousands of whom attended his funeral. He was the first inspiration for the unofficial All-Star game, where players just got together and wanted to do a bit of a fundraiser. So it wasn't really called an All-Star game, but it was players from several teams, because he was so well liked, getting together to play a game just to raise money for his family. So just really, really neat. I love the image. It's authentic, altered, but I actually enjoy that. Like the top corner is clipped. I think without that, it's like a 2.5 or a 3. It's a really nice looking card. The back's clean. The back also has writing on it, so if anyone caught that, Sam wrote their name on it, but it doesn't hurt anything of the enjoyment of the card, and this does get to be a really expensive card, so anytime you put a comma on a price, I consider that really expensive. That's a big deal to me, and that one was less than a comma. But a really cool card, and just a great story of the impact he made during his life, and tragic passing at a very, very young age, but phenomenal player. And then the last one, just picked up, it feels like minutes ago. I think I got this in the mail as I'm recording this, like the day before. So a couple of my friends saw this on Facebook. I was like, I picked up a big card. They're like, yeah, we know what it is. I'm like, damn. Kind of brutal when you're in all the same groups, because they see you saying like interested and then commenting, sold. Oh my God, so you saw it. But this was on the list. It is a E94. It is rough. When I first started looking at this, I was thinking like, okay, so it's like T206, more scarce. The caramels and some of these, offshoot issues tend to be way more scarce for population, but not necessarily crazy for price. I feel like this one gets kind of crazy for price. So this reminds me more of like a T206 Cobb pricing, at least. If not maybe more aggressive. Like in beat up shape, you're still talking 2.5, 3 times what a T206 might be. And these in 2s and 3s start going for $5,000 and $6,000. So whereas a T206, you're probably still talking $1,500, couple thousand maybe. So it's definitely like multiples of, but I like the image. I have another Cy Young that's actually a picture of Irv Young, so that's like kind of less exciting. It is, it's all creased up and stuff, but if this was a 2.5 or a 3, I probably couldn't afford it. In fact, I'd have to swap in maybe the whole darn stack to get just this one card. So I'm really happy to get it in a 1. Creases aren't my dream come true, but the price tag was, so I can definitely deal with that. It's, as we say, it's well loved. You can still see it. One of my favorite things, again, you guys will get to know me quite well, old Cy Young. And the old's kind of getting removed, I know, but it is there. I just love it. I think it's cool. The E94s have different colors. I think I have 2 or 3 from that set. I know at least 2. I've got the speaker, and I've got this one. So I've got to think, maybe I swear I have another one. And, from a distance, you can still enjoy that. You can still tell what it is. Crease is significant, but population, I want to say between PSA and SGC on that too is like 65. And then when you take it down and say like how many are actually within my scope of ever affording, you're talking like 20. So it is pretty tough to come by. So I was very happy. Actually, the person I bought it from, I had messaged him twice in the last year asking if he had one, because I think he had one posted maybe a couple of years ago that I saw on a Facebook group, and I messaged him like, "You still have this?" And he's like, "No, of course not." So I saw it pop up again, and I was like, "Hey, this is kind of crazy, but I've literally messaged you like 10 months ago. I want the one you have now. What do we got to do? Let's get this done." So we eventually came together on a price, and I was really, really happy. And I think he got a very fair price for it, but a little bit less than he was hoping for. And he just said, I'm happy it goes to a good home, someone that really appreciates it, and that's absolutely where it's at. It's going to stay here for a long time. So very happy to have that. But long-winded version of a story. I didn't want to take too long. I'm pushing 12 minutes on 4 cards, but those were all gold cards in writing. Told everybody I wanted them. Everyone knew it was on my radar. I was hunting for them. So I really do think it works to just, have a plan, be strategic, tell people what you're looking for. I'm definitely all over the place, but within the all over the place, there is some focus. And as I describe what I like, you do tend to start seeing, I like the unique, I like the odd, I like the nicknames, I like the positions being unique, I like all that kind of interesting stuff. It makes it really more than just a card. It makes it a story. So that's what it's all about. So thanks for listening to my rant, ramble, whatever you want to call this. Make a list, go hunt. I'll be sharing some of my new goals and things I'll be pursuing. And I think last year's Strongsville list is pretty well taken care of, minus that Sisler. Help me. M101-5. See you guys on the next video. Take care.